Hi, I'm Nafisa Latic, and this is Across the Balkans. This week, we look into Croatia's plans for a new radioactive waste storage facility, which Bosnia warns could have a devastating health and environmental impact. So what does Croatia plan to do? Well, it wants to store half of the waste produced by the Krsko power plant, which it co-owns with neighboring Slovenia, at a new facility in the town of Dvor. But Dvor is right across the Bosnian border, and Bosnia says it could have a major effect on public health, as well as its rivers, agriculture, and the nearby nature reserve. Veljko Skenderija visited the Krsko power plant and Dvor, where he found out the residents of one of Croatia's poorest towns aren't all that convinced about the storage site either.
Around a decade or so before its demise, the former Yugoslavia had plans to build about 20 nuclear power plants. But while those ambitions were high, the economy wasn't. And as the aspirations gradually waned, only this one, the Krsko nuclear power plant, ended up being built. Despite its almost 40-year lifespan, its operators say it's still safe. These organic apples, for example, grow on the same plateau and are even exported to Great Britain.
Ne ispuštamo CO2, ne zagađujemo okoliš, sve naše ispuste u potpunosti kontroliramo i sigurni smo. Znači, mi možemo objektivno pokazati da rizik koji predstavljamo za okoliš je na razini ispod 10 na -6, što je de facto zanemariv rizik.
Krsko lies on Slovenian territory, but is jointly owned by Croatia. Today, it provides Slovenia a quarter of its electricity and 15% of Croatia's entire supply. That is roughly the annual consumption of all of Zagreb. But there is now a problem.
On the first day of 2023, the shelf life of this marvel built by the Westinghouse Electric Company is set to expire. Both countries are doing everything they can to keep Krsko running for another 20 years. But in the meantime, official Slovenian government plans are in the works to build a second block, which will actually be a new nuclear plant that is expected to last for 60 years. And neighboring Croatia is watching closely, but time is obviously running out, with energy prices skyrocketing practically on a daily basis. So will Croatia have enough electricity, and at what prices in the upcoming years? That is the question nobody seems to have an answer for.
The second block, which would also be in Slovenian Krsko, would secure Croatia's electricity needs for the foreseeable future. About 70% of the country's electricity comes from renewable sources, including hydropower plants, and block would comfortably make up the rest for years to come. Energy experts are unanimous. Croatia must take part in this project, and the management of the existing nuclear plant agrees.
Pa moje stručno mišljenje je da tu sigurno postoji prostor za Republiku Hrvatsku i da bi pozitivna iskustva koja imamo iz pogona ove elektrane se sigurno mogli primijeniti i na buduću elektranu i na zadovoljstvo obje strane. Za to sigurno postoje potrebe, za to postoje tehničke mogućnosti i za to postoje, ja bih rekao, i financijska sposobnost. Odluka je de facto na politici.
And while those in Slovenia hope that the new nuclear plant will be up and running by 2033, officials in Zagreb are yet to go any further than offer a mere expression of interest.
Jasno da je Hrvatska zainteresirana za nastavak suradnje i to mi bi vrlo rado da to bude na isti način suradnja kao što je bila i do sada. Znači, Hrvatska je to javno komunicirala, tako da što se Hrvatske tiče, mi smo zainteresirani za suradnju i to aktivnu suradnju sa slovenskom stranom. Mislimo da je to dobro.
Milatić says Zagreb is yet to take any action only because it is waiting for Slovenia to obtain the necessary permits and start planning. He also emphasizes that Croatia is among the 10 EU member states that fully support nuclear energy.
A jedan od načina kako imati stabilnu energiju, a da nije a da nije prljava, odnosno da ne emitira CO2, to je nuklearna energija. Zato je Hrvatska apsolutno na strani svih europskih zemalja da je nuklearna energija nešto što nam treba i u budućnosti, što će trebati još više.
But before reaching an agreement with Slovenia on the construction of a new block, Croatia still needs to resolve how to dispose of the radioactive waste coming from Krsko. And although it has a plan, it may prove difficult to carry out.
And this is Čerkezovac. The former barracks, the former military base, should become a radioactive waste dump, according to the plans. But also the obligations that Croatia has assumed, radioactive waste from Krsko and medical waste would be stored here by 2025 at the latest. The state claims the location is ideal. Of course, the local community does not agree with this, but neither does the neighboring Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is not even 5 kilometers away from here. However, the waste must be stored somewhere, and it's gonna be right here.
This center is set to have two types of storage units, one for low and medium radioactive waste from Krsko and another for institutional radioactive waste, including medical from Croatia. There will be no nuclear waste here, according to the fund, which is the project holder.
Pod nuklearnim otpadom možemo podrazumijevati samo istrošeno nuklearno gorivo iz nuklearne elektrane Krško, koje će na lokaciji elektrane ostati sve do 2103. Do 2103. Republika Hrvatska i Slovenija zajedno sa još mnogim europskim državama istražuju mogućnost gdje će to biti trajno zbrinuto, znači odloženo. Ali ono što za sada možemo sigurno potvrditi da to na ovu lokaciju neće doći.
Extensive tests are still being carried out to confirm whether the location is suitable. The fund says before the waste even gets here, it will first be processed and sealed in concrete containers. And it will also be inert, without any liquid or gas that may cause leaks. And looking at similar warehouses abroad, like this one in the Netherlands, it would seem that concerns from neighboring Bosnia and Herzegovina and the local community are unfounded. And that's precisely what the government says.
I mi smo uvjereni da to odlagalište može biti njima samo od koristi, ne od štete, jer tu stvarno nema opasnosti. Više zračenja doživite na jednom prekooceanskom letu, avionskom, nego što je moguće u 50 godina da kad stojite kod tog odlagališta.
Dvor is where the future warehouses will be located. It's one of Croatia's poorest municipalities, and Milatić says it should profit from the landfill as it will receive more than $1 million a year in compensation. We are now entering Dvor to see how the locals feel about having radioactive waste in their backyard and whether the government is simply looking to soften up those who have less. And the mayor, for one, seems skeptical.
Zašto baš u Dvoru? Bilo je neka 13 lokacija. Dvor nikad nije bilo prva lokacija kad je struka o tome govorila. Bila je uvijek u sredini. Kad je bilo i 4 lokacije, Dvor nikad nije bila. Zašto politika da određuje gdje će biti radioaktivni otpad? Mi smo u žiži javnosti od 2015. godine. Pogledajte okolo, da li je općina Dvor razvijena nakon 7 godina? Nije. Još je gora nego što je bila 2015. godine.
Arbutina says the environmental impact study is still being carried out. If it confirms that Čerkezovac is suitable for waste storage, it is quite likely that construction will begin. But that could spark strong resistance in the community, at least judging by the overriding sentiments.
Ja sam srcem bila protiv toga, ali očito se nas male ljude ništa ne pita. Jeste vidjeli kako izgleda to skladište sad i koliko je prošlo od kako se kaže da će se tu dovesti nuklearni otpad? Ništa urađeno nije.
Čujem da je to opasno po život, zdravlje, okoline, prirode. Una je tu blizu, u njoj se kupamo i tako.
Jeste se išli informirati u infopunkt?
Ne, nisam.
This is the information center the state opened to inform locals about all aspects of warehouse project. Most of the time it sits empty. Citizens bypass it as if itself were radioactive. And while Croatia has no alternative location for the warehouse, backlash from locals and from across the Bosnian border is expected to grow louder as construction nears.
Djeca će nas proklinjati. Djeca će nas proklinjati, to je prvo zato što ništa nismo ni probali da uradimo protiv toga.
The scenery here is beautiful and by and large untouched. The fund claims it will stay that way. And while the people of Dvor and officials in Sarajevo still need a lot of convincing, neither the fund nor the state may have any more time to waste. Veljko Skenderija, TRT World, Dvor, Croatia.
Joining me now is Mario Crnkovic, an ecologist in the town of Novi Grad on the Bosnian side of the border, about 1 kilometer from the earmarked site. He's also the president of Green Team, a non-governmental organization committed to environmental protection. Great to have you with us, Mario. Now, what kind of an impact do you think the Croatian waste site can have on people's lives?
Thank you for inviting me. There's so many different impacts, but okay, firstly, we can start with economical impacts. Firstly, even now, that intention of Croatia to dump their radioactive waste on a very border with Bosnia and Herzegovina brings my town and my region already some financial losses. Some foreign investors doesn't want to invest in our town. They doesn't want to support our development, so we already got some damage from that intention. By the way, there is also ecological impact because we speak about River Una. River Una is protected area. Also, River Una is national park. Probably most valuable resource in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and someone wants to dump their radioactive waste near that river. There's also because no one doesn't want to live near radioactive waste, which is dumped in some inadequate place. And there's fourth thing, which also must be mentioned, because there's a security aspect. I'm sorry that I must speak about that, but this region has some wars almost every 30 or 40 years. And someone got some crazy idea to put their radioactive waste in that border space. So there is also huge security risk.
Now, we spoke to residents of Dvor and its mayor across the border in Croatia, and they're also worried for their health and the health of future generations. Are you in contact with them, and do you plan to protest against these plans together?
Yeah, we're constantly in contact because basically we are the one. There's no, okay, on the paper there are some borders, there's some entities, there's some countries, but we people, we citizens are the one. Because of that, we are part of at least 7 protests. And trust me, there will be at least 7 more. We'll protest, however, it need wherever we must stop that intention, because we citizens we want to accept the risk of dumping that radioactive waste. Sorry for my English, but it's so emotional for me to even to talk about this topic, because this is the topic which
but
more
the
than
Croatian,
20 years.
yes, Mario, but the Croatian government has yet to publish any health or environmental risk assessment. So they say anywhere in the world, and things have been done like this before, no one was jeopardized. So they say, let's just wait and see the report, and there is no reason to worry. Why don't you trust them?
Why should we trust them? Because it's unbelievable, basically. Nowhere in the world, no one doesn't get that idea to dump radioactive waste in the border place. It's crazy. No one doesn't even try to put radioactive waste in protected nature area. But there's something most important of all of this. it is political decision because Croatia they don't have any documents that can confirm that location in the border with Bosnia is the best location. They don't have it. They don't have any assessment to prove it. It's only political decision because they see Bosnia as a country of the third world. Sorry for
and what's been done from the side of Bosnian government to prevent this, to stop this?
Bosnian government can't do a lot, honestly, because as you know, we are so divided country. We are divided in so different ways, but we are united about this topic. Citizens do good job, but government, they only talking about this topic. They don't do anything concrete. We have some expert team, we have some legal teams, but they don't have any results. And that's the problem. Of course, there is also diplomacy. Our Bosnian diplomacy didn't do anything to stop Croatia. More than 20 years, this case is going on. 2025 will come very soon, and that 2025 is probably deadline to finish this process. I really believe that the only solution is in some international courts. We heard some Bosnian politicians that
Did you ask any of the international institutions to help your NGO with this?
Honestly, they don't want, because we are Bosnia. We are not part of the European Union. They're always supporting Croatia. They are not interested enough, let's say like that.
Mario, thank you so much for being my guest here on Across the Balkans. We'll keep an eye on what's happening with that site and what kind of impact will it have on you and the residents of the area. Thank you again for sharing this with us. Every August, Sarajevo becomes the center of the region with the Sarajevo Film Festival. Hollywood and regional film stars, directors and singers hit the red carpet as the city welcomes tourists and guests from all over the world. Now, the competitive sections are open to films and filmmakers from the Balkans and Eastern Europe. At this year's festival, which runs from August 12 to 19, 20 films are set to have their world premieres. And actors Mads Mikkelsen and Jesse Eisenberg have also received the honorary Heart of Sarajevo for their contributions to the film industry. Semir Sejfovic has more from the Bosnian capital.
Thousands are in the Bosnian capital Sarajevo for an event which sheds light on how this city has made an impact not only on entertainment, but how we remember history, the Sarajevo Film Festival. This annual event was launched by Haris Pašović 28 years ago, when the city was besieged and the country was at war. It was a time of violence, and movies were the only way to escape the bitter realities. Once the war ended in 1995, the festival continued to grow, and so did its films. Director Danis Tanović turned Bosnia's tragic past into an award winner with No Man's Land in 2001. It took home the Oscar for Best Foreign Film and drew the focus of both Hollywood and the global entertainment industry to the talent the Sarajevo Film Festival offers. Past festivals saw A-listers Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Robert De Niro, and many more. And this year, one of Bosnia's most recognizable directors, Danis Tanović, is promoting a new criminal series, Kotlina, which is already causing a stir among those who got a sneak peek at the premiere.
A ovo smo želeli da napravimo nešto potpuno drugačije, da vizuelno priča izgleda zaista potpuno drugačije od svega što smo navikli ovdje i nekako sinoć sam vidio par kolega koji su rekli pa nismo znali da živimo u ovako lijepom i velikom gradu. jer smo uspjeli da dočaramo nekako taj neki možda neviđeni ugao do sada.
Našu kotlju.
The first film festival screener was Triangle of Sadness by Swedish director Ruben Östlund, who received the honorary Heart of Sarajevo award for his latest film, a TRT co-production and a Palme d'Or winner at Cannes.
I was the president of the jury 2018, but I never got to see this venue. It's fantastic to be here. It's like fantastic to be back after the pandemic, and I mean, this is what cinema is about, to watch things together, really.
Bosnian director Aida Begic says she found freedom in the production of her latest film, The Ballad.
On the other hand, I didn't have to answer to anybody about what I want, why I'm going to do it. Shall we do this shot this or that way? Yeah, we're going to do it. When we were editing, we didn't have to show it to anyone to really. So I thought that it was time for me as an artist and as a director for this kind of step, to do the movie the way I want completely. So if I fail, never mind, at least I tried. So I think it's important once in your life that you say, now I'm going to do it, so what the hell.
Visitors are guaranteed not to be disappointed by the screenings nor by the atmosphere. Like every year at the Sarajevo Film Festival, visitors get to enjoy all the glamour the red carpet has to offer in the company of Hollywood stars. Danish actor Mads Mikkelsen received the Sarajevo Heart of Honor Award for his outstanding contribution to the art of film.
I was just in a film, but these people who started Sarajevo Film Festival were doing it real life. I'm very humble because I know that some of my biggest heroes have been walking this red carpet and received this beautiful award. Very humble for that. So to show you our gratitude, I think that Sarajevo Film Festival and Miro and all your assistants deserve the Danish Heart.
With great screenings, crowded streets, traditional Bosnian food and music, the film festival fever in Sarajevo will go until the 19th of August. And if you have missed this one, no worries, you can catch it next year. Semir Sejfovic, TRT World, Sarajevo, Bosnia.
This week, Montenegro witnessed its deadliest shooting. 11 people, including 2 children, were killed in the attack in the country's old capital of Cetinje. The attacker is said to be a 34-year-old man who, according to witnesses, indiscriminately shot people as he walked through the street. We leave you with these pictures from the commemoration. Thanks for watching this episode of Across the Balkans. See you next time. Bye-bye for now.